Howdy ho and welcome to Rauta's quick report, opinion video, whatever you want to call it. It's about Nordic Metal Cruise 2021, just took place a couple of weeks ago and I was there with my camera crew. First of all, to enjoy the cruise and the band and bands, and also do a couple of interviews. Now this time we didn't actually have any extra footage of the event, that is, we didn't really do a tour that we have done with a couple of previous tours, that is Nordic Metal Cruise 2020 and 2019 respectively. There was kind of a busier things to do, like drink beers and, hang around with people. Just kidding aside. But anyway, we did see plenty of band activity there, and of course we had a little bit of, beer drinking. And of course, those interviews that will be published later this fall 2021. That is after we got a couple of other interviews out there which have previously done. Quite a lot of things in the pipeline. So I'll tell you, I will just, tune you for this website for Nordic Metal Cruise 2021. So you got at least basic information. So the bands headlining there were Ensiferum and Swallow the Sun from Finland. Actually, Swallow the Sun and Ensiferum and Moonsorrow, that is those three, were there to just, take the deal here home. Moonsorrow actually replaced Isan there, which was obviously supposed to play there, but due to some COVID-related things didn't go as planned, I guess, and that's why these three names were there. Well, Moonsorrow being the only one to replace Isan, obviously. And then there was this fourth band, Veri Kalpa, introducing their own folk metal as well. And then a couple of DJ gigs, played there as well. So the deal is this is a kind of a 22 or something like that hours cruise between Turku, Finland and Stockholm, Sweden. Takes place from Turku, leaves there from around 9 o'clock in the evening and then comes back the next day around 7 or so. So it's not exactly 24 hours cruise as it's usually being called, like people call that kind of a 24-hour cruise, but it's a little less than that because of, cleaning and whatever. Anyway, the point here is it's a kind of a two-way trip. That is, one way you see two bands, another two bands on your way back, and of course you get to hang around with a lot of like-minded people, that is metalheads drinking beer, and then you have these DJs and other events, like for example there was this Numirok festival related bingo kind of a thing and stuff like that, and of course people buy tax-free booze, tobacco and candies and stuff like that. But mostly it's about metalheads drinking beer and watching bands. I'm not necessarily sure in which order, because you kind of feel and obviously think that, okay, people are going there to see bands first, drinking beer second, but as it often seems to be the case, it's more like bands surely get their audience and people are, loving, those shows and all that stuff. But beer drinking, especially for Finnish metalheads who attend these kind of cruises, with or without bands, mind you, they're just, enjoying the whole tour there with, with beer and all. So sometimes it's more like bands falling into the background and it's more about socializing and having good time on a cruise. Because cruise is basically like a Nordic version of Las Vegas. I know it's a little bit overstatement, but it's more like what happens on the boat stays with the boat. Or something in that direction. That is, people go there to party as if it was this kind of a 24-hour, nightclub event or whatever. This time, or with these kind of cruises, Nordic Metal Cruises that is, it's more about also seeing bands and being, together with, like-minded people. Instead of normal cruise where you just go and there's some are families, some are retired people, some are just, truck drivers from one place to another and things like that. In general, these cruises are very, very much fun to do, be it Viking Line or other ones. But Nordic Metal Cruises, I know, there's something more special, and it's not only about, having like-minded people there. I think it's more about, or like Viking Line actually said it, it's like red turning black. That is, Viking Line is all about having colors of red and white, usually. But this time it's almost like Cannibal Corpse reference. I don't think it was that intentional, red before black. But when red turns black, it's almost like Viking Line replaces the red and, you get the idea. So this time there was kind of a folkier events, except Swallow the Sun, which is more doom death, if you will. And these bands played nice shows. I'm not gonna say I saw it all because I didn't. Obviously, I was way too much, I guess, hanging around with my friends and all that stuff. But what matters is that I had a good time, and those bands that I totally saw on the stage, and well, they seemed like they gave everything. That is, they played proper show, and what I really like with this Viking Grace ship, which is the home of Nordic Metal Cruise, is that that nightclub totally becomes this kind of a proper place for metal bands. I mean, the sound is really good. It's on two floors. Basically, there's this ground floor. Bars are on both floors, obviously. But it doesn't really matter whether you go to the balcony, to the second floor, or to the ground floor. The sound is good, and you get to see the band really, really nicely. Basically, there's this kind of an open floor just before the stage, and the stage is not too high, but just kind of a perfect for bands to play. So you get to see it, whether you're watching it like, I don't know, 40 meters away. It still sounds powerful, but not too loud. And, the sound is really, really nice wherever you are basically seeing the show. Or that's my experience. I've been seeing some of these shows on a balcony as well as on the ground floor. This time that was my choice. And you really get to see the band nicely. Different angles, different, heights basically. And you get to drink beer while hanging out with your friends, just like in a proper, I don't know, open air or a club fest kind of a thing. But what makes this event, in my opinion, in a kind of a more magical than, say, your typical fest. Now, when you go to a typical fest, you basically enter, I don't know, maybe afternoon, maybe it's like 3 p.m. or so, and then you just go through the night, basically, and then you go home, or to a hotel or whatever, and then comes a different day. Well, when you're on this kind of cruise, it's basically that 24 hours party. So some people just party throughout the night, never go to sleep in their cabins. Well, more decent people like myself. Just kidding. But I did that. Go to their cabin, maybe it was 4 o'clock in the morning, but never mind. And I had a good night's sleep. Then go for breakfast, get a couple of beers after my, breakfast and coffee and all that stuff, and, go eat some nice places. I mean, there are nice restaurants to go with. Or if you prefer some, just sandwich or whatever, well, that's okay too. Or if you just prefer to drink all the time, no worries. Nobody's going to stop you drinking 24 hours as long as you behave in such a manner that you're not thrown into the ship's prison cell, or whatever it's called. Or, pass out like around the ship or whatever. Now, because I don't have this extra footage, obviously you're wondering like, how does the ship look like, what it's supposed to be. Let you imagine this. It's like a smaller version of those Caribbean ships. And if you have never even seen any kind of this ships, doesn't really matter. I will link the previous year's version of that ship or that cruise so that you can pretty much check it out, how it looks like, what kind of people you can expect there to be, and how is the general feeling like. Now, this is for 2021, and before I go and quit, there's also now this 2022 version coming out. That is already 5th of February 2022. And no bands have yet been announced. I hope to come back to that later on with another video. But at least based on my 3 previous trips, 2019, 2020 and 2021, there is no reason why I wouldn't be going to this trip, even if the bands were not totally up to my liking. Why so? Because it's always so goddamn relaxing to do these kind of cruises. Let me tell you, it's so much fun to just, have some beers and drinks and eat good food, see, nice or cool people, and to get to see those bands, obviously. So you will get to see me there in case another wave of COVID doesn't come and stop us. All in all, I strongly recommend to all kind of metalheads. Doesn't matter whether your taste is more mainstream or whether you're into more extreme kind of a sense. If you are not so much into these certain bands that will be announced, so what? Join the cruise, drink some beer and have a good time. That's my tip. And if you're too grumpy or introvert to go out on a cruise, well, there is nobody to save you. Then stay home. It's fine. Anyway, check out the links provided from the previous from the previous cruise, and you get to see the idea how the cruise will be. Meanwhile, looking forward to your comments and questions related to Nordic Metal Cruise. I will do my best to answer that, and in case I can, I will just forward you to the promoters of the cruise, and you get all the information you need. The website for Viking Line should be available at least in Finnish, Swedish, and English, so you're pretty much good to go just by reading the websites. Alright, take care, and maybe see you soon with more Nordic Metal Cruise information coming your way.